Okay, my friends. So today is all about some reflection. It's such a great practice to just ground ourselves and reflect and really think about what we're taking away and then also where we want to go next. And that's really what today is about. So just as a roadmap, remember this is what we've been doing together. First, you picked a topic from your repertoire early on. On day one, we got together, we got to know each other. We looked at some Zoom tools, but really we focused in on learning about the tools of engagement. And that's where we were thinking that no matter what you're doing online, you wanna be thinking about really engaging people. And there's so many ways to do that. In day two, we spent a long time together getting deep into how to design your content for real change. And that's where we introduced the MIT, the most important takeaway concept, the building blocks, how to transform, like really to think about the system of change, etc. Then in there, if you guys came to those classes, we did some work on being strategic about how you set yourself up and also your marketing and communicating with your clients. But then we came back together formally yesterday on day 3 to present your plans in your capstone project. And today, here we are, day 4, capturing lessons learned. Of course, all of this is designed to help you grow into a really strong future of creating and building a profitable and strategic training business. And that applies to you whether you are a contract ed director or a trainer. You should always be thinking about working in partnership, directors and trainers together to be strategic and to do really powerful marketing and really great content. So that's our roadmap. And here we are, lessons learned. Remember that our most important takeaway for you, the thing that we really wanted you to come away with, is we want you to be inspired to take action, to do something very specific and build yourself a strategic online business, since the opportunity is so great right now, using basic tools that are available to you and concepts that leverage your existing talent. Okay, so I want to know for everybody, I want to see a little show of hands here or thumbs up for me. Are you inspired? How are you feeling? Are you feeling inspired? Give me a thumbs up if you're inspired. Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so this is a really important thing. I mean, there's so much available to us and the opportunity is just insane right now for getting a foot in the door and getting started with this stuff. So we're really excited for you to be here and be at this place in your process. So today's objectives are clear. We want to review our key learnings from the course, share some personal insights. I want you to think about how you're growing personally, but also how you're growing kind of strategically, like your tactical growth. And we're going to make a plan to move forward. And that's what we have in store for today. So again, when you think about reflection, I just want to reposition this to get it back in your mind. We learned a lot of tools and techniques to enhance engagement, right? We learned about how to use the breakout rooms and how to use polls and how to use reactions and just engage people with connect before content and use the MIT, etc. So this was really important to think through, like looking at that class and thinking, this is not a one-way show. This is not me standing there just, PowerPointing people to death. It's really about engaging and really ensuring that we've got a space to learn. And then you practice translating a course to an online format. Some of you were at different stages in that process, but really you took something that you were already doing or something that you're going to do or something you're passionate about, and you worked to put that into a small online delivery using those tools. And you applied the principles of transformation. Remember, we talked all about like what you cut out and how you stay focused on that most important takeaway and what you leave behind. And that is a process. You guys, it's a process that takes time. It takes a lot of time and focus, I've found, to train myself to do that, right? Over time, we get used to doing things in a certain kind of a way. And it's really important to be thinking through, how do I continually make my classes more powerful, more powerful, more powerful, more of an impact, more of a punch, more engagement. And so I like to be thinking about that all the time and just going back and reapplying the principles over and over again. So we are going to go into a longer breakout session. We're going to go 12 minutes here. So I really want to give you some time to go a little deeper and think about how to really reflect and apply. So there's 3 things I want you to take into consideration. And if you would, you could take a picture of this. I'll also broadcast it into the breakout room. But I want you to think about what's been your greatest personal learning. How have you grown as a trainer or as a director? Like, what was your big aha? And what do you really want to put into action from that personal learning side? Then the second question is this: if you had to teach someone else one thing about how to succeed online, what would it be? So this is tactical. I really want to think about your key tactics. And finally, in your breakout room, I want you to think about next steps. Really getting clear on, like, what is my goal? What am I going to do next? What is my clear and actionable next step? So I want you to be prepared to share your highlights in those 3 key areas. So you might want to appoint a note taker and a timekeeper just to make sure everyone gets a chance to share. We're going to go into groups of about 4 to 5 people. So that I want to do that so you have some good energy around in these conversations. So just make sure that somebody's taking some good notes and that you're ready to share these things. When we come back, we're going to share out of number 1 and number 2 first, and then we're going to take a pause, and at the end, we're going to share your goals, okay?
All right. Well, let's start with, how did you grow? Who took notes and who wants to share? And I will share one thing from my group that I heard over and over again was the MIT. That once they had that nailed in, first of all, it was great with their clients to ask the client what was their MIT, so that they were really targeted from the beginning. And then to build their coursework around that was really inspiring, got them fired up, because they knew they were really, it's kind of like crossing the finish line. You knew that you were going to make it over the finish line by having that MIT.
Nice.
So I'm going to share that one thing, because my group said a lot of other things that I would love them to share. But the rest of you, how did you grow?
Yeah, and don't hesitate to put your notes in the chat as well. So we'd love to hear your voice and see your words in the chat.
Well, I would say for me, everyone, it confirmed what I suspected, which is the skill set for online. Many unique skill sets are required, because going from stand up to sit down is very different. So that was very, very helpful for me.
Nice, nice.
I would just like to say that, yes, the MIT was key here, but what I also learned, I don't even think I mentioned it in our breakout, is that I need to be able to refer back to that MIT periodically to ensure that our learners or our trainees are really getting it. And so that really was key to me. And I think Veronica mentioned that. So we're going to work on that to make our presentation much stronger.
Nice.
One of the things, the many things that I mentioned to the group was the idea that, and I said that we didn't talk about this yesterday, Claire, but I think I got there because I was in the training. And my daughter was showing me this YouTube video. It was a tutorial. And I said in my head, you know, these teens have something going on, because they are so personal and relaxed on the camera. And so I think I'm going to watch a bunch of teen tutorials to really understand that style and being relaxed. The other thing I didn't mention to the group, but it's so true, we had a back to school night when we got done. I told my husband, it is not natural to sit and teach and train. I need a stand-up desk. I feel like Kermit the Frog. You know, I got to get up and be able to move around a little bit more. So I'm probably going to invest in such a thing.
Interesting.
I'll just
Heather,
share. I bought this past weekend. I bought a desk riser from Costco. It was $99, and it just, you put it together. It sits on your desk, and you can move it up and down. So yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh, I just bought, and it just got here, my bike, a stationary bike with a desk that
Whoa.
goes up and down.
Nice.
I've been using it. I love it. And you can also stand. You can make the desk come over, and then you can stand at it as well. So I'm not really, he's trying to show it, but I don't think I can. I'll put it in the chat. Maybe I'll put it, it's on Amazon for like $200. It was amazing. It's amazing.
Let us know how it works to teach doing that, to teach from stationary bike, will you?
You know what? I actually did. I've had it for about a week. And if it's a casual group, then yes, you can do it. If it's a, obviously a high-end client, I would definitely say you probably don't want to do
All right,
that.
wait.
Sweating.
Wait, may I ask Desiree, are you on it right
Yes.
now?
I am. Do you want to? It's trying to get on it so you guys can see it. I'm like,
That's
That's
awesome.
so great.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
you
It's
got to be
like-
comfortable. You got to be comfortable and find your groove with that stuff. I'm for sure. I think,
It's good it's
Yes.
not electric and it suddenly starts on you and you're pedaling furiously while you're trying to.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, that's
yeah.
great.
I love it.
I mean, you could use an exercise ball to work your core too. One of those big balls. I have one of those. So if it's a
Yes,
short meeting, I will use that, but not for a long meeting because you'll be going.
That's good. The cycle of learning.
Like low learning.
Cool.
Oh, there. I'm able to show you. We're moving, so sorry about the boxes.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's
Isn't that
cool. That is
Isn't
very
that
cool.
awesome. Yeah, so that's my new favorite toy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
$200. Yeah,
How
and you
about other
can
personal learnings?
it
What else did you learn on a personal level about this engaging online teaching stuff?
Well, since I'm talking, I just want to say that I enjoyed the class so much. I learned such a great deal, and I think the value for me, the one big takeaway was that marketing session, the stacking, and I'm so excited to start my marketing campaign that I'm going to do and I'm going to launch, and it's all going to be around that stacking. I love the stacking portion of the session, so thank you.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Good. I'm so glad you got something from that. We all think that stuff is so imperative. Like it's just got to be there side by side with the content. So good. I'm glad you got that. That's right. Good.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks.
just going to say, Desiree, that a student from the first session emailed me yesterday and she had all these ideas for her leadership training. She's like, I'm going to do a tip sheet for engaging. I'm going to give them 5 things you could do. And she's like, she had all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, choose one for now. Anyway,
Right.
It can be very exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll share some of the takeaways. I took notes in our group on the personal learning. One was using the YouTube videos, the tutorials. One person said that you can have really online and really engaging online training. We certainly learned that in the last couple of weeks here, that it's not just being lectured at. The tips, the focus on the MIT and what's in it for them, for your learners. Also, that there were so many new ideas, the tool of closed captioning, the marketing ideas, partnering with clients. And then I just wanted to share for myself, I had never even hosted a meeting, and now I am ready to tell my clients that I'm actually certified. So my confidence went way up.
Wow. Can we just celebrate that? That's awesome.
Fantastic.
I know a lot of people were on mute, but Marla, I hope you looked and saw how many people were clapping for you. That's just fantastic.
Where do I see that?
Do you see
In the
everybody's
gallery
picture?
view.
Oh, in the gallery view.
Let's do it again.
And this is the value of 2 screens. See, so you can see the PowerPoint on one, and I could see my whole gallery on my other screen.
Right.
Big pictures of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a great tool.
Yeah. Honestly, if you have, I mean, we talked about this with the last group a lot, actually, that was a big takeaway, but I got this other screen for like this other monitor for about $12 or something at my local electronic recycling place. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy schmancy. You just grab, you know, get another monitor and a cable, and it just makes it so much easier. It doesn't fix everything, as we know from every time I go into breakouts, it does this weird thing, but it makes it so much easier to navigate the multiple, you know, the things that you have to do when you're presenting. So
Yeah.
definitely recommend it if you have the space for 2 monitors. Anyway, all right. Anybody else want to share a personal learning?
I think the session on the lighting and, you know, cameras and all was really good because I bought a ring light and I bought a new web camera.
You're looking good, Mina. You're looking good. Good. I'm glad. Nice. Very good.
And I just want to throw in, there were concepts that never would have occurred to me, like closed captioning. That was a huge takeaway for me.
Good. So glad. All right. What do you think about key tactics? Is there a difference here? What else do you want to contribute in terms of key tactics? Jonathan, I'm sorry, I didn't want to step on your toes there, but if you want to move us forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So some of the things that we talked about in our group, just this whole idea of really telling others about the need for engagement, as well as, you know, the use of the tools. Breakout rooms came up a few times, getting people to share. Mina talked about getting people to share when you come back from breakout. So it's not just, you know, you come back and boom, you're back in the next thing. And Barbara, I think it was Barbara that shared a tip about assigning different groups of people a group name so she could call on, okay, let's hear from the Lions. What did you talk about in your group? And just different tactics to really bring the tools alive.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
I think engagement and some tools like Breakout were some of the highlights there.
Nice. Very good. Okay.
Anybody else who, other groups, if you'd like to share, what were some things that you shared that you would, what's one thing that you would teach others?
Can I also add that the key component that we have a networking group here?
Yeah.
So that I would tell people that they need to just get into a group like this, because now I have all these friends everywhere that I can say, hey, I'm thinking about this. Do you have a few minutes to even hop on Zoom and have me run this past you and see what you think?
Nice.
So I think that is very valuable.
Yes, Heather, very, very, very smart. We have a network of like just wonderful support and resources. So thanks.
That's great.
I'll share some of our group ideas. One person said, show a 1-minute video with all the housekeeping rules and techniques you need to be aware of. Using tools, using the polling tool, the breakout, the chat, have an outline for your training with times so you know durations.
Nice.
I love this one, having it be more like a conversation. It's more, and I felt the same way too. There's a real difference from being in the classroom. You have to create intimacy in a different way, and standing in the front, being more formal is almost, you almost don't have as much time for that. You have to engage right away. A few people mentioned part of the strategy is creating a partnership with your client. And then one last thing that I added was, because I had zero experiences, just spend a lot of time practicing so that you know all the potential glitches. I actually had to install Chrome, and using the Google Slides was a challenge. And, you know, I felt like I spent all Sunday afternoon just trying to figure that one out. And then a 20-year-old helped me ultimately with my biggest problem.
Yeah. Never fails. That's great. That's great.
Our group talked a lot about student and participant engagement, how to get them interacting right away. And I was in another group yesterday, I just have to share this. One of the instructors used songs, like what, we were doing this relationship, topic, and what stage is your relationship in? Sing it in the one line from a song. And everybody, some people sang it, some people did it. It was so much fun. And so every time I go to one of these, I steal somebody's idea. It's like, okay, where could we do that? Even in the beginning, I was thinking, like, when you're getting ready to start the workshop, if your life were a song right now, what would be the title? That could be really cool, and they could sing it or say it. So anyway, always stealing ideas from people.
On that note, Susie had a great, really brief exercise in her presentation yesterday. Susie, are you okay if I share it?
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
So it was just a kind of a little bit of an icebreaker. She said, take the first letter of your name and share a word that kind of represents you. And I might be mangling this a little bit, Susie, but she took something that's most personal to all of us, and she started first, and it was a really positive word. And so I shared, and it was just a neat way to instantly connect with me on a personal level as a participant.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to put out something I wanted the group to know. And so just little things like that can go so far in creating connection.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you have a group that's not too big to do that, or you're going to be together a little while, and the connection is, you've really got to stimulate that connection right away. Even a round robin, the only challenge that I'm seeing in round robins is that it's hard to get, you don't have the visual of who's first and who's second because everybody's screen looks different. Yeah. But you can say, okay, I'm gonna call on you in my order or something like that, or try. I've seen people do this where they say go in alphabetical order, but I feel that makes the participants work too hard of like, wait, where am I in alphabetical order, And so I find that it's just to give them some ease into it by just calling on folks. And anyway.
I have used that alphabetical order in chat though, especially with my bigger classes. If your name begins with A through C, you answer question 1, that kind of thing. So it helps to really make people participate. But any new way of doing things gets people's brains working a little bit differently. Don't have them expect the same thing all the time.
Right.
If you're used to using annotation boards, the annotation board, it takes a lot of practice. But I have a class that I do with the Blanchard companies, and they do this a lot. They'll have, if you have 20 participants, they'll make a slide, numbers 1 through 20, and they actually say, go and put your pointer on a number that's empty. So you put your name on a number that is empty. And then your number, it's lined up in 2 rows. So 1 through 10, and then 11 through 20, let's say, if you have 20 people. And so you put your name on a number that's empty, and whoever is your name across from you, that's your partner. Oh. So it's a little, so it takes a lot of practice. I would not suggest this to do because I had to do it. And the first time I did it, I was like, okay, I just moved on and just had people partner up because it got too convoluted. But then after a couple of tries, it actually works pretty cool because it allows people to get to know how to use the annotation board. And they said they really enjoyed learning that. So
neat. Yeah. I love those things that you get double whammy out of. All right. Well, if there's no other real high level key tactics we haven't covered yet, anybody else want to chime in before we move to the goals part? Yeah.
I've got a question. What's your experience with what's the word? If you want to mix up the breakout rooms in the middle, let's say you were, let's say your design intention is to have them meet everyone in the room. Right. And so how do you actually, what's the word? Assign all those groups in advance, or do you like doing it that way? Does it make sense? Or is it actually easier to just do that as you're transitioning?
That's
Okay,
a great question.
I'm gonna jump in on that because I do a lot of that with my classes because I'm teaching 4 classes right now at the college. One thing is if I know who's coming, I will do a Google Doc for them to tell me because they do presentations, they sign up ahead of time. So I'll have them in groups signed beforehand. You can create the breakout rooms beforehand in Zoom. That's one. Number two is, go ahead.
Can I ask you this though? If you create the breakout rooms in advance, can you only do that if they have registered through Zoom?
Yes.
They have to have registered,
Yes,
right?
They have to have registered through Zoom. Yes, correct.
That's an important point.
Yes, thank you, Claire. And then the second thing is, you can always move people around manually, even after Zoom puts them in. But I always change the groups if it's a long meeting because it gets them to meet people over and over again. And then there's that little box at the bottom of the breakout rooms that says, do you want to manually do this, or do you want to change it? Do you want to change the groups? I forgot what the word is, but I would strongly recommend changing the groups just to give everybody a little bit more exposure to each other. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
You plan to do that in advance versus, oh, we have an extra 5 minutes. I'm going to reassign groups again, and let's go once around again.
Yeah, if they're not registered, that's what I would do, and it doesn't even take 5 minutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If they are registered, then you can set up the breakouts in advance. But if they are not registered, then you have to do it once they get there to the meeting. Okay. So that can be a little tricky because you've got all, like we didn't know exactly who was going to come today. So and you guys, because of the way the links worked, we didn't have you register within Zoom. That's a different thing. We know you're in the class, but you have to click a certain box in Zoom that requires people to register. And if they're registered, then you know their email addresses in advance and you can set up the breakouts in advance.
And I will say the advantage of registering, if anybody teaches sexual harassment or any other class that requires attendance, that will create a report at the end of how many minutes that person was in that class.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah. So just to know, but you do have to do that in advance.
So Rayanne, I don't want to contradict you here because I am not the expert on this, but someone just sent me an article day before yesterday that said that because of privacy, Zoom changed its monitoring of people's attendance. I don't know the backstory on that or how they changed it. So I don't know if you can, it said that it reduced your ability to track their engagement. And I don't know what that totally means. So maybe you already know that, but I just got that article.
The last one I did was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I was able to do it then, but maybe it's changed since then. I will definitely look that up.
Something to look into.
I think that's a good point though, because we are operating in a VUCA environment, right? That's changing constantly. Mm-hmm. So a tool that works one week may not work the next week. So really looking at, as you prepare for a training, as we all do, what am I relying on, and does it still work the same way that I had it work last time?
I just noticed this morning I went into Zoom and the whole interface on my end has changed. So it looks entirely different when I'm looking at my meetings and what's coming up and everything. And so now suddenly it's not quite as intuitive because I had learned how to do it before. So now I have to learn how to figure out where to go to get this and that. So these things just change constantly. And it is that's an important point, Jonathan. It's good for us to stay on top of that. And if you're a Zoom registered person and they send you an update that says, this is changing or that's changing, read it because it's probably going to apply.
Well, and yesterday when Zoom went down, I was talking to people and they were scrambling to go to Microsoft Teams or WebEx, or Google now has Google Meet. So I think that's one thing for all of us to be aware of, is that right now Zoom is kind of the it platform, but that may change. We never know what other startup company is going to come in and make things even easier and better and cheaper. So we have to continually keep learning technology. And I know for me, being the baby boomer I am, it's like I have to call my kids. I get, oh my goodness, help me with this. And then they click And you're going, look.
They know where the button is.
You know, as part of our kind of post-training debrief, that is something that came up in the breakout room earlier about Teams. And I shared with our group, Teams is catching up in a lot of ways. Like Zoom is still, just in my opinion, it's still the most versatile tool that you can easily get people up on, that there's still a free version, but Teams is gaining ground. And, you know, I think we need to start looking at what elements of Teams do we need to all be familiar with in case we're put into that environment.
Right.
So there's things like that that will be taken into consideration. This is a fast moving river that we're all in right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a lot of my clients that are county and government facilities. They don't use Zoom because of the privacy issues.
Right.
And so some of the other ones besides Teams and Google Meets, I don't know if your opinion is on Blue Jeans. Has anybody used Blue Jeans?
I've heard of that.
I've used it for meetings, not for training, but I found it pretty cumbersome. But that, again, I haven't used it for training yet, so I don't know the capability.
I've used it for training because my client used Blue Jeans, and that's what they were on. Yeah. And I felt the same way, Jonathan. So I just was wondering if anybody else felt the same way. It was very, it was definitely not user friendly.
Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah.
And I will say that I did receive a contract from a company to do an online training, and they made me certify through WebEx, and I had to do a 2-minute WebEx, and I had to be able to display the slides within 2 minutes of getting on and be able to show interaction with the participants immediately. So it's like they're testing you now. Some of these other online providers, they're giving you a test, and they don't give you a lot of time. There were about 100 people on the call who wanted this particular contract, and we had to all certify in less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, right. All right, my friends, let's move forward. This is such good stuff. I'm so glad we've got this being recorded so we can go back and really listen. We've got a couple of opportunities we wanted to present to you to continue your learning. Now, for starters, this is a training community that we have that's free and active, and the last group of folks that went through boot camp has joined us and is all there now. So basically it's called the Be an Amazing Trainer Community. I've got the link here for you, and I can put that in the chat in just a moment. And this is a place where right now it's inside of a portal that I use that's at clairelaughlinonline.com, but it's a free community, and I'll send you guys the link. And if you just click the go to community, and well, you'll register for it, and then you'll get instructions on how to get there. I'll send those to you by email. But this is just a place where, so this morning I posted this was all about our presentations yesterday. We try to post things that are, learning and value-based stuff. We post ideas and creative things that are going on. So we really hope that you're gonna come on over and join us, and there's a place for us to stay connected in this way. It's been really fun in the last couple weeks for me, especially to stay really closely in touch with some of the folks who went through our last boot camp, and to just be there to ask and answer questions and stuff like that. So we hope that you will join us there. Brianne and Jonathan, anything you want to add about that?
Yeah, just that, the value of any community, as you've seen in this one, I think Heather pointed it out earlier, and it's what you put into it is what you get out of it. So if you have the time and desire to put something into the community, even just to go and want to engage with others in the chat, then definitely do it. But don't join but not engage at all, because otherwise there's no value there. It becomes heavy. But this is a great way to just kind of continue the conversation together in a safe space.
Yeah, and this is again, it's not a Facebook group. This is a community inside of the Kajabi platform. So I just want you to know that, because anyway, I'm not a big Facebooker. It's kind of so I've created this community here. I've had this community for a long time, and being active is great. We'd love to invite you to come and participate, check us out, and be part of this community. So that's one thing we got going for you. Another thing is access to coaching with the three of us. So we don't mean to be, you know, salesy here, but I will tell you that we all know, the three of us have talked about this many times. There's a lot here around the design component, and you guys are at varying levels of comfort with designing your online courses. But beyond the design is growing your business. It's the marketing piece, it's the strategy piece, it's the combination of how you build those opt-ins and get those out to the world and work with your clients. And there's other things going on there, like how do you really close the sale and all kinds of stuff. So if these things take time, right? And they take guidance sometimes. So we just wanted to make some coaching available for those of you who really want to make quick progress now, right? So you've got all this training under your belt at this point, and you could reach out to any of the three of us, and we'll do an initial consultation with you to see how that, you know, to talk through your needs and what that coaching relationship might look like and what you want to gain from that. But basically you would choose one of the three of us, you'd select a plan, which could just be like 1 hour of coaching, or we like to do little packages of 3 if you really want to make progress. So we could talk about that and then really work to utilize that coaching to build your business. So that is available. All you need to do is reach out to one of the three of us, and we can talk that through with you. Okay.
How much for 3 of you at one time?
That's good. That's good.
That's a good question.
We can talk about that behind the scenes. I don't know, but
and I just want to say, for a quick question or for sharing, I'm very open.
Right.
People have already contacted me and said, hey, do you have an idea for this? As long as you're not asking me for an hour's worth of time, I'm more than happy to tell you what I think or run an idea by me, because I love ideas. But
yeah,
but
we're
I
all
want
ideas
an hour session.
That goes for all 3 of us.
Yeah, Ray, Claire, you beat me to it. I was going to say the same thing. Like I offered in my group earlier, if you just want to reach out for a conversation, yeah, that we're all colleagues here. We're all trying to support each other. What we're talking about here in this slide is something we all know: more focused, more intentional, going deeper.
Going from A to B.
Yeah, we're all here to support each other.
Yeah.
And I have found coaching to be holding me more accountable. I've actually done this with someone because I tend to be a little, probably can't tell, right? Scattered sometimes. But so having a coach saying, you know, you're going to do this by this day really helps you, for some of us, to keep us focused on getting it. And thinking about the investment is small if you're going to get a large contract out of the deal or more work in this environment. So
yeah. So also, you guys, this just to be super clear, I know in my group, some of us talked about we're gonna take it a little further. We're gonna do a little extra coaching and do another presentation. This has nothing to do with that. This is the certification part of our class is already what you're doing. So that is not this coaching package. So I just want to make that really, really clear. If we talked yesterday about connecting about your presentation, that has nothing to do with this coaching. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Well, so let's talk about your goals. You guys, I hope had a chance to be thinking about this in your breakout, but we want to hear from each and every person in this round. We're going to do a round robin here, and we want to think about your goals moving forward. Who will you look to for collaboration and accountability, and how will you continue your learning? One of the things that we are playing with, and you'll see this in the survey, is offering a more advanced level of this training, a part 2. So we would love to know if, in fact, you can just do that in the chat real quick if you don't mind, if you would be interested in doing a part 2. We just want to gauge interest here. You're not making a commitment. We just want to see, like, how many folks would like to move forward with a part 2 of this same kind of training, this boot
What would be the
style.
focus?
What's that?
What would be the focus of that?
That's a great question. We're working on that. It would probably be a deeper version of what we've done already. So more on your content, more on your marketing, more on your strategy.
And we talked a little bit more on engagement. So it's definitely on engaging maybe more icebreakers, more interactive, more creative types of things. Like I mentioned, the songs, how to make it more three-dimensional versus the one type of one-dimensional. So really trying to be more creative and trying new things.
Sorry, Ray, we would put out a survey also just to kind of dive into that a little bit more and get more feedback before we would launch that, just so we're really dialed in.
Maybe some stuff in there as well about creating video-based courses. So things that you can shoot once and sell over and over again. Yeah. Okay. All right, so your goal. So let me see, how will we do this? Let's go around. I want to hear from every person. In fact, Rayanne and Jonathan, you guys want to take us through a little round robin?
All right, so I'm going to start at the top right of my screen.
Okay.
And Michael's like, no, Jonathan, don't choose me. But you're at the top right of my screen. So why don't you take us away with this?
As far as my goals moving forward?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So as far as my goals moving forward, I think, the first thing is just becoming more familiar with the material, I think is the big thing, because I'm going to start teaching Excel classes, and so just becoming more familiar with the material, kind of the organization of it, coming up with some online content to be able to teach this online. I think that's the big thing, and finding a way to maybe create more opportunities for the students or trainees to actually, real life experiences based off whatever companies needing this training. So coming up with ideas on that. That's my next goal is trying to move that forward a little bit, because this is my first time teaching, and so I'm just trying to come up with something.
All right, and super quick, who will you look to for collaboration and accountability? And for the third question, if you do have something in mind, you could share that briefly.
I don't have anybody at this moment for collaboration or accountability. I would think that would probably be the people I'm working with at the college at Sequoias, and maybe working with them more closely, and just maybe having a deadline as far as when I'm going to teach. So that way I'll have a deadline at that accountability in that respect. So.
And you have us if you join the community. It's open. No charge, just join in and we're here.
Real quick,
yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Real quick, I wanted to tell you that there's a cool game online called Spend, and it's fun for students to see if they have so much money and how it decreases as they spend. Anyway, I have a lot of ideas for Excel that makes it really fun, so you can reach out to me because I've taught it before.
Okay.
Got to make it fun.
For sure.
All right, bye.
All right, next on my screen is Suzanne.
Oh. Sorry. What were the questions again?
So the three questions.
Sorry.
They're in the chat.
Basically, what's next for you? What are your goals? And who will you work with for accountability?
I think my goals are, this has been a really energizing experience. And I look forward to teaching all of my instructors these things. And I'm actually going to make a Zoom training for our college, so other people can make use of this. And I think for accountability, it's probably the group. Although I have connected with a few of the attendees here, and I will stay in contact with them as well.
Awesome. All right, next on my screen is Marla.
Okay. Well, my first goal, I said earlier, is I'm going to be reaching out to all of my clients to let them know that I've got this new skill. and offer them the opportunity to revise any courses that they might want to bring back to life or going forward. Because I know lots of people who do Zoom training, but I suspect that they mostly just lecture. The other thing I'm going to do is let go of my use of Skype and replace it with Zoom. So I don't know, maybe much to the dismay of most of my friends who are on business Skype calls all day long, I'm going to start asking them to use Zoom with me so I can practice some of these tools and feel more comfortable with them. I'm definitely going to collaborate with people at Chabot Las Positas that I'm connected with because I think that's a great partnership that we have already. And now that a number of us have been trained to do this, I think we'll be able to go forward and reach back out to those clients. And then I would like to participate with the community. And I've had a wonderful last few days getting support from Marlene. So I definitely plan to be in touch with her.
Awesome. Awesome. Heather, you're up.
Okay, so since I work with a college, we already have a meeting set up because they have also, the management portion of that has gone through this training too. So working with this community, working with them, and then as a contracted employee trainer, I'm going to be working with them to get all of those materials changed over and, you know, help facilitate what their needs are so that together we can be successful.
Awesome. And Susie. Oh, sorry, Heather. So you're going to be working with them also on the accountability side?
I'm sorry, was that for me?
Yeah, sorry. I didn't catch if you answered the second question. Who will you work with for accountability?
Yes, so as a contracted employee, they, you know, I contract with them. So they're really the, you know, they're the business aspect of that. But again, you know, they're open to new ideas and we're going to be working together to make sure that we're moving forward and keeping and gaining clients as we go through this change. And as a trainer who loves to train on change, I hope to help facilitate that move into that direction.
Awesome. All right, Susie.
Okay, so I would definitely mirror what Heather said because we're on the same team. So meeting with Rose and Jorge and Laurel, covering all the information you provided us and just all your tips yesterday, Jonathan, were so helpful. Really highlighting, you know, the goals are just what's in it for the trainee, what are their takeaways to make us unique and stand out, to want more. So I think that's usually what our goals are. I know that's one of my goals is I always want to leave them with that energy of what else do you have, right? When's the next class? What's going to be next? And if we're setting trends and being like one step ahead from what we've gained from your classes these last couple of weeks, I feel like we have what it takes to set that bar high. So definitely that's going to be a goal, is working with my partners at COS. And then, so that was the first one. And then who's accountable? I would say COS, definitely. We're going to be working together, marketing, making sure that we are presenting, you know, doing follow-up, and then also doing an intro of maybe highlighting on some of our pre-material what companies have loved what we've done in the past, and highlighting like maybe quotes or even maybe personal testimonials, and then just, you know, duplicating that so more companies are familiarized with our services and understanding it's not just a boring Zoom class. It's like the best Zoom class ever. Not to say yours aren't. All of yours are great too, but I'm just saying we are trying to be the best.
That's awesome. We should also strive.
Yes.
Isabel, you're up next.
There we go. Okay, so now that I'm unmuted, I can answer the questions. So my goals are right now, the immediate goal, and that's the short term. Let's get it done and do it professionally based on all the feedback that I got yesterday, to make sure I'm more engaging in this training as I'm redeveloping and redesigning it. Who do I work with? Well, I'm a contracted employee like Heather, right? So I work for the College of the Desert. And so the district is who I'm accountable to. But my partner in crime is Veronica Ishuerta. So we will be working together to make sure that we get this done. And another short-term goal that I have is to really create that short video that'll be like an introductory video that hopefully we can put up for people who are interested to get an idea or a taste, a flavor, I don't know, of what the training is going to be about. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Awesome.
Thank
and
you.
I love that idea of the introductory video. I think we could all do that to get the interest. Veronica, you're up next.
So our first goal will be to take this training to the department. I'm the program manager for contract and community education. So we want to do train the trainer for all of our subject matter experts. And I will collaborate with my two best trainers that I have here, Robin and Isabel. And I will use them as a great resource, having going through this training. And accountable, of course, to my administration, and accountable to my participants, because I think that this training is really key to continuing with the quality training that we've had in the past through live instruction. And now we can take our online platform to that same level.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Mina. So just to give you a heads up, so it'll be Mina, Robin, Marcia, and let's see. Yeah, we'll go in that order because I noticed some people are moving around a little bit. So we'll just say those next couple. So Mina?
Okay, so it's to reinforce what I've learned, because there's so much richness in all the suggestions and tips and everything I've learned from everyone. But I want to work on the YouTube videos, and I also want to work on building the value stack. I think that was a really good idea. In terms of accountability and collaboration, I'm a contract trainer, so I'll be working with the college. And what do I want to do going forward? Just short term, I want to spend more time with Microsoft Teams. I want to explore that. I'm familiar, but I just want to explore it because I've spent a lot of time with Zoom. And I think Microsoft Teams, as Jonathan mentioned, is going to be really popular too. So, and I want to thank everyone. I want to thank the 3 trainers, and I want to thank all the participants because I've learned so much from you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's all mutual. Robin.
So I want to become more comfortable with the online training and tools. I want to take the current content that we have with some of the courses that we have through the College of the Desert, the PACE program for the cannabis curriculum, and how to adapt them to online. So those would be some of the things I'd be looking at. In terms of who I look for collaboration and accountability, definitely Veronica and Isabel, who's been through the training. And I also want to take some time to really look through my notes and look at some recommendations I have for the PACE program in terms of marketing and how do we get more people wanting to come to our classes? What are some of the exciting things we can do? And part of my goal is I would love down the road, I know this is a long-term goal, is to be as good as Claire has been as the Zoom trainer. And I'm not kissing butt here, but her comfort level and her engagement, because when I first thought, oh my God, a 4-hour Zoom class, how am I going to stand it? Well, you made it so easy to stand it. In terms of collaboration, I want to use this community. And I've also got colleagues through Pure Ambition. It's another consulting group that I work with. I'm going to reach out to you, Rayanne, because we do a lot of the no harassment training, and we call it Beyond creating a respectful workplace. So those are the kinds of things. And in terms of my own learning, I gotta practice, get more comfortable, really watch those YouTube videos. And now I'm gonna watch TikTok, and just keep learning. I mean, it's, I need to be gentle with myself. I'm like hard on myself because I love the in-person training. And now I want to feel that same comfort with the online training because I feel that is the future.
Well, I'm confident with that attitude and with your eyes on Claire, you're going to get there. And just to share a little inside secret, when I grow up, I want to be like Claire too. So
Okay.
You're not alone there.
So we need a little Claire faces, you know, to put in front of our faces, whatever. Okay.
All right, so I put in the chat the order going forward, so that gives you a chance just to unmute yourself, and we'll go in that order for the remainder.
So I guess Mark K is me. Yeah, I guess that's me.
That's actually, oh, I'm sorry. I was just grabbing the way you're named on the screen.
Right. That's me. Yeah. I don't know why it does that. So if someone can explain that to
So
me.
you can actually, this is a good point. Actually, when you enter a training, is to put, you can rename yourself.
Oh, right. Okay. There you go.
Because then over time, like as a trainer, I look and I'm like, oh, maybe I've been misspelling something. Let me go with what they put on the screen. So that's why I was like, I'll play it safe. There we go, Marlene. Thank you.
Oh, you did it for me. Well, thank you.
No. I think someone else did, but thank you for that.
Oh,
And
Rayanne did. Thank you, Rayanne.
I thought I was going crazy. I thought, well, I thought it was Marlene before, but it's different now. So I'll just play it safe.
And you know what's funny? I wondered throughout this whole training, why would anyone want to rename themselves? I don't quite get it. So now I get it. Okay. All right, well, I'll be brief. There's many things I'd love to share with you. I'll save some for the evaluation, but to answer your questions, the first thing I'm going to do, the very first thing I'm going to do is to update my credentials. And I'll do that with whatever form your certification takes. I haven't heard that yet, but I presume it will be coming by email.
Yeah, I can speak to that at the end.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure. Actually, I can share something right now. So,
okay.
Once we're done with all of the presentations, and there's a couple folks that still need to wrap up, then the three of us will come together. We'll make our final list, and we'll create the digital certificates. It's not a badge, but it'll actually be a digital certificate, and Margaret will also sign off on those, and then we'll be sending them out. Each of us as trainers will send to our group of people that we worked with. So you'll have that as something that you can upload and keep. And, you know, the way we look at that is, this is a recognition that you are ready to go. There's none of us here that are perfect. Well, maybe Claire and Ray, but this is like a ready to go, and we're all continuous learners, but we're right. Super excited. Our favorite thing actually is when we get to send those out. So
yes, I'm sure. Well, we'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
And let's see. So that's my first thing. The next thing I'm going to do, I have a new client and they're looking for a new workshop. And I think I mentioned in my small group that I asked the client about what is the most important takeaway, because the client was kind of vague and she couldn't answer me. So I asked her to think about it, and she did. And it has tremendously helped nail that down from the beginning. So thank you for that. I used that right away. And I'll be adapting other content to online training, because that is where we all are headed, for sure, more so. I'm accountable to my clients. I'm accountable to the partnership between the county and the community college. That's who I do a lot of work for. But I'm also looking forward to doing some other things outside of that arrangement. And the last thing I'll just share with everybody is, you know, there's one skill that I tell everyone that lasts forever. All the skills you've learned, there's one skill that lasts forever, and that will see us all through, and that is the ability to learn. So thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. Really appreciate that.
Hello, everyone. So gosh, I've got a lot of next steps, but I guess the main two would be to work on launching my marketing campaign to scale my business. And then the second one is I do have an upcoming Train the Trainer for a D&I initiative for a client of mine. So I'm going to work on helping them get comfortable. So I love the question that you gave us earlier about, you know, what would we teach someone else if they had to do a online training? So that was really important for me. So definitely going to make sure that they're up and ready to go and feeling comfortable. Who am I accountable to? Besides myself, my clients, my subcontractors, my husband, even though he's not a partner, but he says he's a partner in my business. So he always drives me. He's an engineer, and I love his analytical skills. It helps me keep on track. And so definitely, mostly to my clients, though. That's who I'm going to be held accountable. And also to El Camino College, since I'm a contract trainer.
Awesome. So much.
Hi, my name is Barbara Swede, and the goal would be the video-based training and asynchronous training. I have an interest and enthusiasm for that. Who can hold me accountable would be my various stakeholders, my clients, the various universities that I partner with, my board of directors of my company. And I'm pretty good, like Desiree said, just holding myself accountable. Sometimes and I heard from other people too, I put too much pressure on myself. So I think I got that part covered. So thank you all. I really have appreciated just the collaboration, the networking, and all three instructors have been just wonderful. And I'm a forever learner. And I didn't know if there was any books or references if I wanted to explore a little bit more about value stack or anything else, if you have any recommendations. And
So
that would be to the instructors.
Yeah. Sorry, I was muted. Let me give that some thought. I kind of made up that value stack idea from a whole bunch of different resources, but I'm sure I can find a source resource somewhere that would be great. I'd be happy to share it. These are the kinds of things actually that I'm really committed to sharing also within the community, just to make sure that we're always sort of posting new resources and things that we're delighted about and things that we're excited about. So let me specifically look for that for you. But if you come and join us in the community, you know, again, it's free. Just come on over, and then that way
I've already signed up. So yeah,
interact.
That collaboration.
Nice. All right.
All right. And I see, before Milton shares a question from Suzanne in the chat, do we get the presentation? So after all of this is done and we've given the certificates, we have some post production work to do. Nothing super fancy, but we'll go back through and do some just light editing of the videos, take out the breakouts, that kind of thing. And then I'll be sharing that with Margaret so it can get posted on the CETAP website. Now, from what I've heard from her, that may take a little bit of time, but eventually all of this will be available on that site. All right, so let's go to Milton.
Okay, so my next goal, we've already began looking at our 200-hour program and identifying what items or subject matter we can actually push over into the Zoom process or online process, and then what activities we actually have to do in person with hands-on. So we've started developing that program. Our next course up in the Butte area is going to be too soon to actually use the Zoom or online training. So hopefully within the next 6 weeks, we'll be able to develop that and push that out to the clientele. So we work with the DACM team. They're with Butte College developing the programs that we're currently working on. So that's who we're going to collaborate with, as well as our clients. just to make sure that one is we're meeting our clients' needs, and then looking into the future to kind of develop that stack so that we can continue to meet their needs as well as develop ongoing courses. So, you know, and being accountable, one, to the client, and, you know, two, to ourselves is always, you know, pretty important as far as what I do. You know, I always want to be accountable to myself to make sure that I am meeting everybody else's needs. So as you guys all pointed out, is we usually hold ourselves higher accountable than most people do for ourselves. So,
Yeah.
and then I already joined your community, so I will look forward to collaborating with you guys also.
Awesome. Yeah, and when you go in there, post a question, respond to somebody else. That's what makes it fun.
Right.
Thank you so much for doing that.
I see you have a leadership book club or something on there I looked at, so I'll definitely look at that one.
All right, Ianniello, you get to kind of close us out for these for this section of our time this morning.
Right on, right on. So my next goal is to, I have to say, I learned a lot through this training, and I see that I can transform the way that I teach online. So I'm very grateful for that. My goal is to bring all that knowledge to life, so I can reflect that to my training. So I'm going to be readapting the content and how I deliver that. The stacking strategy has been huge for me, and that's something that I really want to start thinking how I'm going to make the stack happen, and also with the idea of partnership with the college, partnership with clients, and how to build kind of my product or services around those ideas. I think that is very big for me right now. And when it comes in terms of who will hold me accountable for these things, I have to say number one is me, right? I have this kind of, I'm very self-disciplined. And I have kind of this ninja inside of me. So for me, it's very important I hold that for myself. So I'm going to make this happen for myself first. But also, of course, for the people that I serve, my clients and the college, to see how we can all grow. And for me, always the best strategy when it comes to this is just go for it. Jump in the pool. And if there is water or not, I will find out along the way. But when I'm already committed, things need to happen. So I like to go in that direction.
That's fantastic. And before I turn it back over to Claire, I just want to say two things. One, I love that. I have a ninja inside of me. Woo!
And he does. He definitely does. I know. I saw him present.
I also want to just know a question that came to me privately. Probably more people are wondering who will have access to the recorded presentations. So first of all, we just want to respect you. If you don't want yours shared, it will not be shared or posted. There was the idea that we would take some of them as examples and post them on the CETAP website. On further reflection, we've been thinking about just taking a small snippet because we know everyone's in progress with what they have. So it could be something from what we recorded, or you could re-record based on what you learned and send us just a 2 to 3 thing of your presentation that you would like posted. So think about that. Let us know what you'd like to do. But we think that kind of bite-sized thing would also be good for you from a marketing perspective, not only to kind of be a showcase of what you've learned, but just maybe some lead generation for your business. All right, turn it back over to you, Claire.
All right. Well, this is our ending point. We really appreciate you being here for this last bit because it's important to reflect and ground this stuff and land and carve your path forward. So thanks so much for joining us and for being so wonderfully clear about your lessons learned and your goals moving forward. We've had an absolutely lovely time working with all of you. It's really been special to get to know this group, and we're excited to see you all over in our community. We'll send out an email that's just a recap, and also the link to the evaluation. Very, very important. So that's going to come right away to you. And in fact, Jonathan, do you want to put it in the chat?
Yep, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Just give me 1 second.
Once Jonathan puts that in the chat, you can copy and paste it and link it and put it right into a new tab on your browser. And, or I think you can even just click it. I'm not sure if you can click through or whether you have to copy and paste, but in either case, if you would go do that for us, it would mean the world to us. We really appreciate it. You have our email addresses. You'll be hearing from us, and please don't hesitate to reach out. Some of us have follow-ups to do with you guys individually, and so we will be in touch for that. And if you know, we'll just work that out amongst us. So thank you all. I don't have any other closing words. How about you, Rayanne?
It's been a pleasure. And I think we learn as much from you as you learn from us, which is why we do this. And
Absolutely.
I think all of us showed that passion, especially in the presentations. It was just amazing to watch people with feedback, how they progressed. Their presentations became smoother and smoother, more professional. And I think that's what we want for contract education. We want our clients to know we are a professional group that can deliver.
Absolutely. So thank you all. I guess you're free now. You're free to go enjoy your day. So.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Program.
Thank you.
Thank you.